Hello everyone, this is me, Gameslayer, aka No Brainer, playing some Magic the Gathering Duels of the Planeswalkers 2013. Because, you know, now that 2014's out, I no longer have to be a hipster with playing 2013. Honestly, I don't know why we're playing 2013 instead of 2014, but we are, and I said we because I am joined by PANCZASU, the mighty MIG spammer. Thankfully there's no MIGs in this game. He is not in the voice chat with me right now, unlike in our Dead Space 3 videos. It's more like the Heroes of Might and Magic videos, because we're going to be fighting each other. Yes, that is PANCZASU's name. ... because Korean letters do not work in Magic the Gathering. God, I'm going to be saying Heroes of Might and Magic a lot, sorry guys. Anyway, for you, those of you who have never played Magic the Gathering before, Magic the Gathering is probably the best card game in existence, and is one of the longest and most established games around, and it's partly because they took a game, gave it some basic rules that were quite fun to use, like a normal card game, say, with stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Duel Masters, and then they just did really well with making new cards and content, and they weren't afraid to make cards that abused the hell out of other cards. The connection with the host has been lost. Returning to main menu, my internet has technically been destroyed, but I am going to keep doing this recording. Right, so, as I was saying, I was saying things, right? Yeah, okay, in fact, that internet thing completely messed me up. Anyway, in part it's because they have delivered the content, but in part as well it's because they aren't afraid to make cards that basically break the rules. For example, in my real life deck at home, I've got a card which every time an artifact goes into the graveyard, your opponent takes 1 point of damage. And that basically adds an entire new rule into the game, and that's what I really like about Magic the Gathering. It's a lot more dynamic, unlike other games such as Yu-Gi-Oh! And Duel Masters. And this way also prevents power creep, which is a big problem in card games. Because in other card games, power creep is a big deal. Power creep is basically where you release new content and it is slightly superior to the old content you'd already initially done, to make people... Well, obviously in part is to make people buy it, but it's also to make people interested in the new cards. Magic the Gathering did something a little different. Instead of it did reverse power creep. So the original cards that came out were very powerful, and as it got later and later on, they banned those cards and made inferior versions, which they didn't ban. You could tell this very obviously with Counterspell and Mana Leak. They do the exact same thing, only Mana Leak costs more mana. And Counterspell was older and got banned. It's that sort of stuff. However, in Duels of the Planeswalkers, you use banned cards a lot because they just want to make a fun game, which is alright, I guess. Yeah, that's one problem with Duels of the Planeswalkers, unfortunately. If I just go to the deck manager, you'll see I have out of cards unlocked. I can only choose specific decks, preset decks to play with. It's not like, say, Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Team Tournament, where you can just make a deck out of all the cards, and you have all the cards, and it's awesome. Because they have something called Magic the Gathering Online, which basically is like Yu-Gi-Oh! And that, only it's a subscription service, and they're like, we don't want to make a game that is superior to our own software, even though our own software is heavily outdated and probably should be a free-to-play by now. So that's what they do, but they take an interesting approach to it in that they make decks that are specific, that are preset and specific, but they allow you to customize the cards within the decks, to sort of slightly change them, modify them to improve your flavor, which is quite good. Has my internet come back yet? No, it hasn't, so I'll just keep talking for a little while. It's quite cool, though. Yeah, it's quite cool, though, because... Well, actually, it's not cool, because one problem with it is that you see how it says 20 out of 40 cards unlocked? Well, that basically means that all preset decks have 100 cards. The problem is you have to play to earn the extra 40, which kinda sucks. Especially when Pancakes has 15 decks compared to my 10, and he has most of the cards unlocked already, because he bought. It's a pay-to-win system. So I'm already at a disadvantage when playing. Also, what we're playing with is we're going to be doing a best of 7, and so we were like, okay, well certain decks are going to be, we're going to random our decks, and you can only use the decks that you've random, but you can use them in any order. And the decks I randomed to be that were banned for me was Crosswinds, Dream Puppet, and Goblin Gangland. Crosswinds is the deck I am best with. It's a deck full of flyers and blue, and it's all about spells and artifacts and enchantments and flying units. Dream Puppets is the insta-win deck. It focuses on causing your opponent to draw 20 cards per turn, and so losing because he's got no cards left in his deck. It's the most overpowered deck in the game. Every single card that they have is completely banned in tournaments, pretty much. And Goblin Gangland, which is a rush deck which Pancakes absolutely hates. So I'm left with decks I'm not quite as good with, and don't quite have as many cards unlocked with, but I will play regardless. The deck I'm going to use first being Peacekeepers, which is all about just getting a lot of units on the battlefield and having those units buff each other. So it's a good, solid starting off deck, although it might cause this game to be a bit short, which is fine because this intro has been very long whilst my internet is now back up. Great. So I'm going to rejoin. Okay. Oh right, it closed. It does it when I'm in the chat box. Intro is done. Yes, that was my internet cutting out. And just because I don't think he's going to notice, intro is done. Unfortunately, so yeah, my best deck is already gone, the two most overpowered decks are already gone, whilst Pancake still has quite a lot. Check. Chat. I am in room again. New Pancakes. Try and invite me when I'm already in the room. So yeah, hopefully I will win this. Come on, Pan, we can start now. I'm shaking my head in real life. I wish... Times like this, I wish I had a face cam, but at the same time, I don't want to show my face. My beautiful face is all to myself. Ah, I hate it. You try and press the ready button, that's happens. That didn't happen. I definitely was ready the whole time. Shh. Okay, let's see what I've got in my hand first. So in Magic the Gathering, you have mana which you use to summon cards. Let's see. Elite Vanguard is a really good starting card. Troll is decent. The Monk. Oh, that guy is like one of my best cards. And Wimble and Charge. It's alright. I will keep this hand though. You can choose in Magic the Gathering. You can choose whether to take a mulligan or not, which basically means you put all your cards back into your deck, shuffle your deck, draw 7 new cards, and if you don't like those cards, put them back into your deck and shuffle and draw 6 cards. So it allows you, because the problem with Magic the Gathering is that you can get mana starved really easily. That's one thing I do prefer about Yu-Gi-Oh! And Duel Masters, even though those games are unbalanced as hell. In Magic the Gathering, you are very reliant on your opening cards. So he has started with an Evolving Wilds, which allows him to automatically play a mana, so basically Evolving Wilds is a mana, and it is green. Now green means lots of troops. Well, not lots of troops, but very powerful troops. So this could be a problem, so I'm going to continue, and I'm going to go into combat. My creature can now attack, because in the old turn it had Summoning Sickness, preventing it from attacking. The Elite Vanguard is nothing special, he has no special abilities, but he's a 1-mana 2/1 card, which is very powerful. Dealt damage to him, and now I'm going to continue to my end phase. So it's a white and green deck. Now, white and green is scary because I know that deck. He's played against me quite often with that deck. Yes, my mic isn't muted anymore. It is a token making deck. It makes 1,000,000 cards, which then all attack at once. So what does this card do? It's a 2/2 creature with flying on the battlefield beginning the next end step. Okay, so he can sacrifice that when he wants to block me. What is this thing? The Oblivion Ring. Exile another target non-permanent. Okay, that's a really good card. I am going to grab myself the Night Guard Patrol though, because he starts off with First Strike, which means that he deals the damage to his opponent in the combat phase before I deal damage. So that means he can kill that girl without me taking any damage from him. Vigilance also means that he can attack and not worry because he can then block straight after because he doesn't get untapped during his attack. Pancakes now, taking forever to make his decision. He just plays another forest. Okay, so now he's also on 3 mana. He's not yet mana starved, unfortunately for me. Also, I'd just like to say, look at this board. This board is beautiful. Let's take an aerial view of this board. This board is brilliant. What the hell did he just play? Back to my view. Shit, no, my view. Player's view. There we go. What did he play? Midnight Haunting, put 2 creatures with flying on the battlefield. Great! I didn't draw a mana, which is a shame. I'm going to play the Master Decoy, because that is a 1 and 2. And then I'm going to go into combat and attack with my Night Guard Patroller. Now Pan has to choose whether to block or not. He does not block and just take the 2 damage. Like a man! And now I'm ending my turn, back onto his turn, and now he's deciding what to do. Unfortunately, I didn't draw a mana that turn, so I'm getting a little bit mana starved right now. He's 4-3 right now in terms of mana, which is a problem. Unfortunately, with my deck, my hand had really good cards, but it also didn't have a lot of mana, which was a shame. This girl... Oh. Every turn she summons a green token onto the battlefield. And this guy also is a token summoner. You see, he's already got 5 cards to my 3. It's gonna get a bit hectic soon. He doesn't want to attack though, for some incredibly weird reason that makes no sense at all, because he really should attack. Because he's got flying, my cards cannot block flying. Okay. I'll accept that. I did not draw a mana, but I did draw the Glorious Anthem, which is a very good card. It gives +1/+1 to all my troops permanently until the card goes away. Which means I'm going to attack with all 3 of my cards. And basically, offer a swap, or I just deal 8 damage to him. He can't do this twice. He can't let me go through twice because he's only got 16 health. He's blocking with his tokens. Okay, that's good. Those 2 tokens will kill my guy, but I'm fine with that because it's 2 for 1. And I still dealt 11 damage. So that I'm perfectly okay with. Of course, he can summon more with this guy. Although they're going to be green and not flying. Oh dear, what's that? If an effect would put 1 or more... Oh, that is scary. It basically doubles the amount of tokens he builds in 1 turn. So, that is terrifying. Awesome, I get the Attended Knight. The Attended Knight has the ability where he starts off with an extra troop around. A token, in fact. Unfortunately, this also has the side effect of me still not able to, you know, have mana. Which is a problem. He's now on 5 mana to my 3. I cannot play some of my better cards. He's going to block. And then he's going to sacrifice. Okay. What this does basically is it sacrifices to place 2 tokens and at the same time wastes my creature's attack. I fully expected that to happen at some point. See, it summons 2. However, he did still take damage, so now he's on 9. I'm slowly whittling away his health. But I really do need mana. That is going to be useful for later on. I could probably use that if he attacks with the flyers and win. What does that die do? Whenever a hero attacks, put 2 soldiers onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. Oh god, so he's going to have 4 soldiers every time he attacks with that guy. Ugh. I assume he's going to attack with the flyers, although he's probably going to leave them to block. That's what he did last time. But yeah, this is a best of 7 series, just to let you know. That's why it's 7 decks. 3 band. And it's his end phase, and now he's using that to summon 2 tokens. Great. Yes, finally, a mana. It allows me to play that, but I don't want to play that. I'm going to use the Oblivion Ring on this guy to just get rid of him. Now I'm going to attack with all my troops. Because I am perfectly willing to swap troops off. He needs to block some of it because I'm going to do 10 damage to him. He's only got 9 health. What's he going to block it with is the question. Is he going to block a lot? I've got 2 guys with first strike here that basically can't be blocked, so he's basically got to choose whether to block one, the other, or both. He's going to block both. Okay, he's going to use this... Okay, he's actually going to block that attack as well, which is very strange. Because it basically just means he's swapped 3 for 1, which I'm perfectly okay with. And now he's only got 4 life left, so now he can't afford to make mistakes. And I am seriously hoping he summons tokens, but those tokens aren't flying. Because he can't... In fact, yeah, these are green sapling tokens. These guys aren't flying. Perfect. I just have to play Wild Windborn Charge and I win now. Because I've got the 4 mana I need. All these tokens he summoned. And I'm very glad as well because... Hey, what's this? Huh. Okay, you can exile cards again. It's like the Oblivion Ring which exiles a card. Now then, Windborn Charge! These 2 guys now get flying, and because they got flying, they're unblockable from him, and thus I win. And they both have 5 attack. And thus, that is a win. GG for me, which is quite surprising considering he had so much more mana, so many more cards on the field. He had his epic double token card on the field, but he blocked with flying units, which allowed me to, you know, win. And he blocked... And he wasted his flying. He should have used his green saplings to block my soldier instead of using his flying cards to block my soldier, because then he just did not have anything to block the flying. Tut tut pan, noob mistake. Anyway, on to round 2.